Peter the penguin. Peter. I like doing that. What's this then? It's quite cool, isn't it? I wonder what it feels like to be So little Peter the penguin's with us, and well, we're going to talk about UFOs because I saw a UFO. Oh, I forgot something. I'll do that in a minute. Well, on Saturday I saw a UFO, and quite funnily, I didn't have my camera. How mad is that? I didn't have my camcorder, so I saw this UFO during the day, which I've never seen one during the day before, and I didn't have my camera. So I thought, I'm still quite a little bit upset about that. But the thing is, it's now Monday and I've not been able to stop thinking about this thing. So I've got an idea for a new video series, which I'm going to try to do one every week, but it might be every 2 weeks. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do like a diary series of videos where I'm just going out, spending the day looking for UFOs. UFO hunting, basically. But on this video, in a minute, I'm going to put the camera above the desk, and I've recorded what happened to me on my iPhone. So I did it straight after, because what I've realised is, the longer the gap is between you and the experience, the more chance there is that you're going to actually start making things up, and you're not doing it on purpose. It's weird. You start sort of exaggerating things, and so what I thought was, on Saturday night, I recorded myself talking about the experience, and in a minute I'm going to play it, and I'm also going to play a clip on YouTube, because I've so far found 3 videos showing the exact object that I saw in the sky. It was basically a donut-shaped object, it looked like a frisbee flying through the sky. So I'll talk about that in a minute, and I'll show you the things as well. So these videos I'm going to start doing, what I'm going to do is, each week I'm going to go down to various locations, quite like remote locations, because I think that's the best place for spotting these things. Also, you need lots of sky. So the more remote you get, the more sky you see. So you've got more chance of seeing something. So that's what I'm going to do. And what I'll do is, let's say I'm down there for 10 hours. What I'll do is, every, say, 20 minutes, I'll just do a little 1-minute clip of what's been happening. So if I've been sat somewhere looking at the sky for 2 hours, I'll just say, oh, I've been looking for 2 hours, I ain't seen nothing. But you might see say, I don't know, you might see a rainbow or something. So you could quickly record that. So it's going to be, even if you don't see any UFOs, it might be I think it'd be quite fun to just like do a little diary of the journey each day. So that's what these videos are going to be. But, well, let's get into it, because also, the thing is, this is the third UFO, the fourth UFO that I've seen in the last sort of, it's probably about 4 to 5 years. 3 of them have been at night time, and 2 of them looked exactly the same, but I've now seen 3 different ones. So, did I talk about it on the video thing? I think I might have done. But one of them is this donut-shaped one. 2 of them have been like orbs of light, sort of going across the sky. And then the other one was it looked like a white egg zooming, supersonic speed sort of thing. So that's 3 different types of UFOs. And I spoke to my mum today about stuff. And I told my mum on Saturday. And then I was talking again about it just a minute ago with my mum, and she's come to the same conclusion that I have, which is that these UFOs are, if they are from aliens, they're sort of like it's like their equivalent of our sort of probes. So those things that we send into the Mars atmosphere, like little rovers, and we send like probes that go around the planet. Me and my mum think that these things are actually like that. What they're doing is they're just sort of coming in here, and they're sort of just basically observing the planet. That's what I think. And I think the reason there's types of UFOs is because it might be that it's each sort of civilizations. So in other words, you've got maybe different types of aliens have created different types of probes. That's what I think. What was the other thing? I was going to say something then. I think I forgot. So, but what I do now is I put the camera up here and look over the desk, and we'll get into the little experience that we had. Well, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a clip on YouTube, and this is from the user Tales from Out There. I'll put a link in the description and stuff. This here is exactly what I saw in the sky. So this one was in Brooklyn, New York. The one I saw was in Plymouth, England. I've turned the audio off on this because he swears on it, because he's so like excited or something. This is basically what I saw. Here we go, look. That's what I saw. Exactly the same, and it was moving just like that as well. In a straight line, but sort of going from side to side, as if like it was riding the waves of the ocean or something. And basically that's what it did, it was just like that. So it's very hard to tell what size that is. This video goes on a bit longer than that, but that's basically what the thing looked like. And so as I'm talking now, you've got an idea of what it looked like. But I'm so upset I didn't get my camcorder out, because I could have zoomed right in on it. It's quite annoying that. Here we go. Hello, this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and today is the 20th of February 2021, and I'm recording this because I'm just about to go to bed. But today was a very, very, very windy day. Super windy it was, but I went out down to Saltram. It was raining and windy, and the weather was so bad I thought, oh, I'm not going to take my camcorder. I wish I did now, because I saw a UFO. So what happened was, I was walking along by the water, and all the seagulls were in the sky flying about. And I just stopped and started watching the seagulls floating in the wind, because I like the way if you've ever watched them, what they do is it's like they sort of glide into the wind, and then they turn around and they use the wind to push them forward, and they can get really fast, and they're not doing anything with their wings, so they're not really using any energy. They're sort of using the wind. It's almost like when I'm watching them, it's almost like they've got a real connection with the wind. They're not fighting it. So I was watching them thinking, I was just like really enjoying it. And then what happened was I saw a donut shaped object. Oh! To me it looked like it was black. It looked like it was all black. And I'm trying to work out the size of it, but it's quite hard. But the seagulls, they seem to oblivious to it, or at least they just... I think the reason they were oblivious to it was, I think because at first I thought the donut was flying through the seagulls, but I wonder now whether this object was actually miles higher than the seagulls. So either they didn't see it, or they didn't care about it because it was so far away. But at the time I thought, why are the seagulls not interacting with it when it's so close to it? That's what I thought. Just they wasn't really paying it any interest or something. But the size of it, from where I was, it looked about the size of somewhere between 1 and 2 seagulls in size. Yeah, that's the size with my eyes. But this is why I wish I could have zoomed in, because it's very hard to tell the size of it. But I'm not sure if it was higher up than the seagulls. I'm not sure. And then what happened was me thing stopped recording for some reason, which was a bit weird. I had to start it up again. That's a bit weird. The recording stopped. But so where did I get to? Yeah, it was. I couldn't. It's hard to work out the size of it because it's quite hard to work out the size of it. But what it did was the wind was so violent today, and you could see that by the way the seagulls were sort of floating about. But this thing was just going in a straight line. It was going in a straight line, pretty fast. And the thing was, it was going from side to side as it was going forwards. So it looked like it was going in a straight line, but as if, you know when you're on the water and there's like lots of waves and the boat sort of bobs about from left to right. It was like that, almost as if the thing was skimming across the wind. But the wind wasn't making it change direction. That's what's weird. Because like with the seagulls, you could see that the wind was blowing them in different directions. So if a seagull tried to go in one direction, the wind would have blown them off course. This thing wasn't getting blown off course. That's what's weird. So it was going in a straight line on a super windy day, but it was going from side to side as if it was balancing itself on the wind. So I saw it for about 20 seconds, I think. It was about 20 or 30 seconds, and I was just watching it, and I was looking at it thinking, what is that? And my first thought was the wind has picked up a rubber dinghy, or like a rubber ring, like you know those rubber rings you go swimming with. I thought maybe it was one of those. It got picked up and taken into the sky. But the way, the motion of it was, I thought it doesn't look like that. It looked like it looked like it knew what it was doing. That's the thing. And then I thought, well, is it a drone? So what my thought was, it must be a drone. So I thought, when I get home, I'll look into drones and see if I can find one of this shape. But the thing was, I've seen drones down there before. They've normally got lights on them. This didn't have any lights or nothing. It looked like it was just plain black, like a black donut, smooth. It looked, well, that's the thing. I can't really say that, but for me, it didn't have any sort of. There was no sort of form to it, I suppose. This is why I wish I had my camcorder, because I could have zoomed in on it. It's quite annoying. But the other thing is that when I've seen drones, they normally sort of stay on a certain area. This thing was going straight, and what happened was it went right along the river, behind the trees and into the clouds. And but with the drones, the drones normally sort of come back. This thing just went, and it just went off. So it's a bit weird. So, but when I got home, I actually forgot about it, and then I was sitting here watching. That's the weirdest thing. I forgot about it, and also about 20 seconds after seeing it, I just carried on about my business and forgot about it. It's really weird, because you would think that would like be more. You'd think you wouldn't stop thinking about it. And the thing is, the weird thing is, once I started thinking about it, once I got home, it really hit me that what I'd seen. It's quite weird. Something on the Kindle. I was actually watching Bob Lazar's on Netflix. There's a Bob Lazar documentary about UFOs, and I was watching that, and I suddenly realised, hey, I saw that thing over Saltram today. And I thought, that thing I saw in the sky. So at first I started Googling drones, and I saw something that looked like I saw something that looked like a donut, but it's a donut, but it had a cross in the middle. I haven't seen any drones which are just donuts. But then, so what I did was I went on to YouTube, and I found a video which is identical. It's absolutely identical to what I saw, and even the motion of it, the way it's sort of going from side to side. So that's it. The thing is, there's more of these. So on the weekend, I'm going to be doing a video. The podcast this week is going to be called That's What She Said, where I'm going to be looking at various videos that have caught my attention and stuff. And I'm actually going to talk about this UFO on there. But there's actually, so far I've got three different ones which are all exactly the same object. That's what makes me think a bit more, there's more to this than meets the eye. Because if it was just, say, a rubber dinghy, one of those rubber rings that have been blown up, it's very weird that all around the world this same object is actually behaving in exactly the same way. And the other thing was, it was so windy. That's the thing. We had like 25 plus mile-an-hour winds on Saturday. That's why I went out, because I thought, oh, this is going to be brilliant. Because you watch the water, it's really quite aggressive in the wind. So the fact it was that windy and the movement of it was identical to the movement in these other videos. And on this video here, there doesn't seem to be much wind, because you can see the trees are very static. So it's moving exactly the same way, even when there's not much wind, which I think that's quite interesting as well. Oh, I've lost the thing on it there. Where did I get to? That's a bit weird. The recording stopped. But I don't know where I got to. Where did I get to? Where did I get to? That's what I saw. So this thing was from America. In the comments, the person said they thought it maybe was a balloon. The thing is, there's no way that was a balloon. If you saw how windy it was today, if that was a balloon, it would not have had the motion that it had. Yeah. A balloon wouldn't have had. A balloon would have. I feel like a balloon would have just been a bit more out of control than that. So that's it. My feelings now are conflicted. On the one hand, I'm so grateful that I saw it, because I know what I saw. So I'm grateful that I saw it, but there's a part of me that's like, oh, I wish I had my camcorder, because I could have. The thing is, I could have zoomed in on it. Because my camcorder, I can zoom in on the moon with my camcorder and get like the details. So if I had my camcorder, I could have zoomed right in on that. So I'm a bit sort of gutted about that. But then I also thought to myself, if I had taken my camcorder, maybe I would never have even seen it. Because if I'd had my camcorder, I would have been, well, firstly, I would have left my house at a different time, because I would have had to spend at least 20 seconds putting the camcorder in my bag, and then I would have been walking along, and how do you not know, at that exact moment I would have taken my camcorder out of my bag, and I would have been like playing around with the screen or something, and I would have completely missed it. You just don't know, do you? So the only thing I will say is I'm going to learn from this, and moving forwards, every time I go out now for a walk, I'm taking my camcorder with me, and I'm going to have it on my hand, because what you can do is, with these camcorders, you can have it on your hand, so I would say within 2 seconds you can be recording. So as long as I've always got it on my hand, I'll be ready for action. And the other thing is, I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to the sky now. So over the last, 4 years, over the last 4 years or so, I've seen at least 4 objects in the sky. I've seen 2, well, the other 3 have all been at night time, or 2 of them were at night time, and they look like orbs. They look like orbs floating through the sky, basically. So they were 2. I've seen 2 separate ones of those. One's up on the moor. One was up on the moors when I spent the night on the moor. Here's a video. Here's some photos of that. That was July the 15th, 2018. Now these photos are not very good, really, because you can't really see anything. It just looks like darkness. To me, when I was there, these photos were taken on this mobile, which is about 10 years old now, so that it's not very good quality, and I didn't have my camcorder at that time. I only got my camcorder later, but when I was there, I could see so much stuff in the sky, loads of stars and these orbs. So if you zoom in on this, look, you can sort of see something. You can sort of see like some sort of wiggliness. That was in the sky. So I don't know what that is. And then what else is, look, you can sort of see, the camera did pick up something. I think you've also got these other little things over here, look. Because like I said, there was just so much going on in the sky. It's quite weird. Here it is, look, again. But what it looked like was an orb. Little wiggles of something. Look, an S. S for Sophie. I think that one's empty. So I don't know what that was, but these look, to me, they look like, it looked like a, how big was it? Well, one of them was about the size of Peter's eye in the sky, and it was just moving across like this. It was like a ball of light floating across like that. Somebody said it could have been the space station. The second one I saw down by, when I was walking home from work, it was so much closer than the space station could be. I think I said it on here. Sleeping under the stars. That was very strange when I saw that. I saw loads of them actually at that time, but at the time I put that down to being satellites. So then the second time I saw another orb just like that, but this one was massive. This was when I was walking home from work. I used to walk home from work at midnight. This one was about that big. It was about that big in the sky, and to me it looked like it was, well, it looked very close. But it didn't make a sound, it just went like this. Across the sky like that. Behind a house it went. Oh, I've done it again there. It keeps loads of them actually at that time. Again along the river, and I saw this big orb floating through the sky, and it went behind the houses. And so that one was not. There's no way that was a satellite because it was bigger. That was much bigger. But the thing was, they've always been silent. There's never been any noises with these things. So that was the first two I've seen. The third one, it was a sunrise. I'd call it dusk. It was still dark, and all the birds were just waking up. So you could hear all the birds sort of waking up. And what happened was, I'm always looking at the birds because I love the birds. And I was like looking up to see if I could see what the birds were doing, and this white object just flew, but it just flew through the sky really super quick. And again, I thought to myself, that must have been a bird, but the speed of it was like a bullet flying through the sky. But this is the thing, your mind will always sort of rationalise what you're seeing, I suppose. But this one here, the one today, was the first time I've ever seen one during the day, and it's quite weird. I've seen 3 different types now. I've seen the orbs, which just look like balls of light. I've seen the white thing, and again, what I do is I always research them after I've seen them. And there are these things on. Well, what happens is there's a lot, when people are taking footage with their drones, they see what they look like, flying eggs, I suppose, supersonic speeding eggs, and they're white. They look like little white eggs flying through the sky at supersonic speed. And what they do is when they capture them on the drones or on the planes or something, they have to actually slow down the footage to be able to see it because it zooms so quickly. So and then the next one was this donut thing. So, and the thing is, there's footage of them, all of them, on YouTube and on the internet. So that means it's not just like a random thing. Do you know what's weird about this? This reminds me of the first time I had a lucid dream, and the light switches, if you turn a light switch off in a lucid dream, am I dreaming? They don't always work, and 9 times out of 10 they don't work. So I did a little bit of research after my lucid dream, and I realised that that was like a common thing, which made me feel like the dream realm must be an actual place that we're going into, because it's got rules. This very much reminds me of that. That very much reminds me of that. The fact that these things are consistent around the world, it means there is some sort of, it means there have to be something. Even if it is man-made and it's like some sort of super secret military craft, that's still an unidentified flying object. It doesn't have to be to do with aliens, but what it means is the fact that other people have seen the exact same things, it means there is something to it. It's not just some random occurrence. That's the thing. There's a consistency to these objects. So it's fascinating. My goal now is to capture one with my camcorder and actually be able to zoom right in on it. Because I want to see what the texture of it is like. Because if you could zoom in on it, you could basically see if it's a balloon. You could see if it's made of metal. And also, you should be able to start seeing if it's a drone or something. So it's quite exciting, actually. And like I said, the main thing is I've learnt from this. And the thing I've learnt is, 1, to pay more attention to the sky. And 2, to always be ready, because you never know when you might see something. And the thing is, they are so sort of, it's not like they hang around, at least the ones I see don't. So you're only going to have seconds to capture it before it's gone. That's it, really. I just thought it was quite cool. I found the whole thing magical. Yeah, I like that. That's basically it, little unidentified flying objects. Boing! And that's basically that. And now I've got this idea, which I think is going to be brilliant. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to start doing this new series, so it's sort of like UFO hunters or something. And I'm just going to basically, I am determined now to capture one of these on my camcorder so that I can zoom in on it. That's all I want to do. If I do that, I'll be happy then. Just being able to zoom in on it, because if you can zoom in on it, you'll be able to see details, texture. And once you know what the texture and the details is like, you can actually have a better understanding of it. And that's it. I'm really excited now, actually, because the thing is, it's very rare, I think, that you're going to see one of these, but if you're actually looking in the sky, you're going to have, basically, if you're not looking in the sky, you're never going to see them. But if you're looking in the sky, you're increasing the probability of you seeing them. So in a weird way, all you've got to do really is just look. And if you keep looking, you're going to have to find one in the end. That's what I think. So that's basically this little video. I find it fascinating. And if you've got any ideas what you think this could be, I would love to know. Let's see, I think there's a little Doughnut. I think there's one of the videos, they have a much clearer view of it. But basically, let's see if we can capture it again. Where is it? I don't even know where he is now. Hey, look, watch this. Oh, you can't see it. Basically, look, this is it. This is it, yeah, this bit, like, watch. What do you think this is? Because the other thing I've been thinking as well is, when you see that, you think it's a donut shaped, but what if it isn't a donut shaped? What if what it actually is it's like what if it's actually like a disc with the bit in the middle? The bit in the middle might actually be like, say, glass. It doesn't necessarily have to be empty. It might just be see-through. So it might actually really be like that. It might be like that shaped. But the middle bit, this is why if you could zoom in, you'd be able to see if there was anything there. If that is empty, or if it's like a see-through material. So if you've got any ideas what you think that could be, please let me know. So far I've heard it could be a balloon. What was the other ones I heard? Well, basically like an alien spaceship. What else was it? Oh, a drone. And what else? I think that's it so far. Or like a bit of debris, you know, that's got picked up and blown around. I can't see it being debris, because the consistency of it around the world is very... So I feel like that is not... It can't be that. If you had seen how windy it was, I really don't think it could be a balloon, based on the wind. It could be a drone. It could definitely be a drone. But again, there's no lights on it or nothing. And there was no sound. No sound! So it's a bit weird. So at the moment, I'm probably going with either a drone or some sort of spacecraft, intelligent spacecraft, which is either man-made or some sort of like alien thing. Something like that. The other thing was, there was when was it? Something to do with the presidents. In the 80s, I think it was. What they saw was, they reported seeing 6 donut-shaped objects. I don't think they had any footage of it, I'm not sure about that, because I haven't properly looked into it yet. But it was something to do with one of the presidents, and they saw... Yeah, let's have a look, see if I can find it. Because what I was thinking there was, if it was in the 80s, we didn't really have drones back in the 80s. 6, what's it called? 6 donut-shaped objects. Let's see if that does anything. Yeah, this is the other thing. It's quite hard to find. Look, making donuts. Oh, I'll have to do a bit of research on this one. President. I think it was the president he said about it. President. 6 donut-shaped objects with one of the presidents. No, I'm not going to find it. What's this, look? JFK's jelly donut. Look, this is the thing. When you start looking, there's lots of donut-shaped flying objects, which is a bit weird. So, but I'm fascinated now. And like I said on that little thing when I was talking, at first I was really upset that I didn't capture it on the camcorder. I feel like now I'm actually a lot more excited, because if I had caught it on the thing, I would have left it at that. But the fact that I didn't capture it means I'm now going to be really sort of getting into this. Well, I hope you enjoyed that though. If you've had any UFO encounters and stuff, please leave a comment and talk about it, because especially if you've seen one of these. This is something else as well I wanted to say. So when I went to work today, it's the first day I've been at work since Saturday. When I was talking to a lady before we got into work, and I said, I saw a UFO on Saturday, a donut-shaped thing, and now what she said was, about 10 years ago she saw exactly something very similar. As far as she said, she was driving along, so she couldn't get a video of it or nothing, but she said she saw basically what I said I saw. She saw it flying across the motorway like that while she was driving. And I thought, how weird is this? What I started thinking, it's amazing how when you start talking to people about things, a lot of people start saying, yeah, I've seen something weird like that. So I think what happens is, sometimes we see stuff, but because maybe people will think we're a bit crazy or something, we don't talk about it. So again, I feel like that's another thing as well, is that we're probably seeing a lot more of these than we realise. It's just nobody's talking about them. And if nobody else talks about them, then you think, well, I'm not going to talk about it because I'd sound a bit crazy. But it's only when people start talking about it that other people feel confident enough to start talking about it themselves as well. That's what I think. So I hope you enjoyed that, and well, definitely now I'm going to get really into this. I'm quite excited actually.